So I'm ready to crimp. Slide it into the crimper. I like to press hard while I'm doing it, just so that I know it's not going to come out of the socket. Good. So that's a fully terminated cable. And then this is the grounding wire. What we do is we come above, around and above, slide it through. We pull it. I'll use the pliers to pull it, the rest of it. That should be good. And then I press so that it doesn't come out of it. All right, let me show you closer look. Not too close. All right, there you go. So I'm going to press on it. And I cut the excess. All right. So that's it with crimping. As I said, I had terminated the cable before, the other end before. Oh, one last thing. Once you're done doing the actual crimp, it's good. You get a chance. Measure the length of the exposed wire. All right, we'll get to that. So yeah, press on this plastic. This is to hold it, but sometimes if you don't pull it, just pull it a little bit so that it's in that position, roughly what, 60 degrees or so. Because if it stays like that, this is how they come new. Let me show you. Sometimes it's not even touched, but when you plug it in into the Omnitic, and while you're pulling the other end down, it just comes off of the Omnitic, and once you're crimping the other end, you don't know why you're not getting connectivity, and it's just that the whole cable came off while you're pulling and routing the cable to the apartment. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test it. I don't know if this is too close. Can't do it. So this is a toner. We also have a different one on the slides, but this is what I use to test the cables. So you plug in one end, you select the network. So I plug it in on the RJ45. Plug the other end. Again, push this a little bit. Plug it in. I should be able to test it. So if it's a, I don't know if you can see the lights, but if it's a good cable, it should go from 1 to 8 without stopping. And we have a good cable. All right, moving on. Let me clean up a little bit here.
Hey, Chris, this is Willem. Do you think we should take a minute for questions, if anyone has any, before you move to the next section?
Sure. If you have any questions now about the crimping process, please fire away. ideally, we are good.
Yeah, I had a question.
Okay.
The tester that you had, the cord tester, it's my understanding people are just buying those like on their own, but there's quite a variety or something, and apparently, a bad tester would be really frustrating to deal with because it might not give you an accurate test or something. And so I'm curious if like testers are there's recommended testers, and if people are expected to like purchase those like on their own. Yeah.
So let me show you. So after you volunteer for 4 installs, the mesh gives you a free a crimping kit, so you can use it on your own. And the crimping kit includes a tester. Let me show you. This is the crimping kit they send you. I showed it before, but so there it is. And this is the one that it includes in the kit. Now, this is not as good as the one I have, but it's good enough to get the install done, and that's what matters. The difference is this one that I have, you can actually, it's a toner as well as it's a wire tracker and receiver. So with this one, I can plug it in one end and I can find the cable that something is, that this is plugged in at the other end, but this is more for a commercial or, more of an office installation. Now, this is good enough for you to test the cable, as long as you know, as long as it has the batteries charged. You plug in the RJ45 to one end of the cable here, the other end here, and it goes through the same 1 through 8 pinout testing. We don't recommend one exactly. We don't have a specific one, but like I said, this one is good enough for you to do the install and to test your cables. Really, if you are confident in your crimping, just take your time. That's what I advise. Don't rush through the crimping, because that just makes it for more troubles down the end. People, I had to get down a chimney. I have to get back on the chimney once because someone just rushed through the crimping. And once I was already in the apartment, we're testing, nothing is working. So it's best if you take your time while you do the crimp. And it's an essential part of every install. If you don't do it well, it makes the installation longer. Oh, so you want me to test? All right, Joseph. Let's do that. I'll go. Let's see if I have a battery. So I'm opening. Let me point the camera down. I'm opening the one that comes in the kit. Push it out. Let me get a battery.
You are a pet, Tayo.
All right, so I happen to have a battery handy. That's good. So battery is in. All right. So I'm gonna put her on. I'm gonna bring the cable. So point this down here. One end goes to this one, the other end here. going to turn it on. This camera is not cooperating with me. Okay, sort of see it. So it's a good cable. It's going through 1 through 8. And even the ground cable. So there you have it. Other questions before I move on to configuring? All right, so I'll move on to configuring. So like I said, we're gonna be doing an omnitic only, and this is how our mesh meshes. The omnitic is the one that makes every node that has an omnitic mesh to one another. So, so you can see it's comes new in the box. So the actual omnitic, power cable, PoE injector. Actually, yeah, PoE injector adapter. This is the actual PoE injector. And this is what we use to mount it to the pole. All right. So as you can see behind me over here, I have a pole just so that we actually mount it. And I'm gonna share my screen now and show you what this mesh is gonna look like. I'm going to share my screen. Sure. All right. Let me turn on the lights. All right, so if everyone is looking at my screen, this was the pinout. This presentation was done by Willem, and I know he put a lot of work into it, but it details everything that we do step by step. So I'm going to share now what is it exactly that we're doing. Again, NYC Mesh docs.nycmesh.net is the best place for you to go and find directions on how to do these things step by step. I'm going to go through hardware. No, sorry. First, I want to go to the main site and show you where exactly I am and what is it that we're going to mesh into. So I'm going to go to the map. Today, we are configuring a node that's going to mesh with this here, with 4239. So 4239 is about 40 feet from me right now. And this is an omnitic, the same as this one. Right, so we're going to start by going to docs, going to hardware, going to configs, and we click on the standard config. And these are the steps that we're going to follow to connect to it. So going back, let me see if you can see. Can everybody see my Wi-Fi, my available Wi-Fi's here? Right, I'll assume that's a yes. So Let me go on to stop sharing the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna plug in this part before I start following the steps to the config. So I open the Omnitic. Back of the POE injector. Adapter. This is where you connect the power adapter to the POE injector. And you can see, you can't really see it, but there has one arrow that says POE plus data. And this is what's going to feed power and data to the Omnitic. And this N is what we regularly plug into our one port in the TP-Link router, which is the indoor router. So power cable into the power adapter. Oh, and I need the cable that we just made. So cable that we just made. This is the one that we're supposed to be running from the rooftop down to the apartment, and it goes to port 1. Port 1 has PoE in, and this is what powers the Omnitic. We also remove, it has these covers here so that the remaining cables are, against the weather. So we'll remove one of those, and that's done. Close it. Screw it. Okay, so I'm ready to plug in the router, the Omnitic external router. What I'll do is I'll connect to it, to the management Wi-Fi via the direct my Wi-Fi adapter, and we'll see how that works. I have a power switch here, and that's what I'm going to be using to power the Omnitic. I don't know if you could hear that, but that was the Omnitic booting. There you go. And if you can see, well, there's a blue LED on one here. You can't really see it. All right, there you go. So I'm working from my office today. So for those who stayed, we generally use this metallic hose clamp, and this is how you clamp this into a pole, and then the Omnitic slides in here. But I'm going to be using a plastic one. This is just for presentation purposes. it's set. Just slide it in. And done. Okay. All right, so we have the hardware mounted. Now I'm gonna share my screen and go through the configuration process. Let's see. All right. Okay, so please let me know if you cannot see the screen because I'm gonna go through the config process from scratch. Okay, and I'm not seeing the Omnitic management Wi-Fi here, which we sometimes get these Omnitics that don't have a that don't display the don't broadcast the management Wi-Fi. And when that happens, we need to do something different. We need to connect to it directly, which presents an issue right now. Okay, so what I'll do.
Chris, sometimes I find that it also takes like 2 or 3 minutes to show up. So you may just
Okay.
Try the other way, but you may also just check back in a few minutes to see if it,
All right, let's give it a minute and see what happens. I'll try to unplug it and plug it back and see if the reboot does something with the Wi-Fi. Otherwise, I'll have to swap computers. Actually, okay, so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna unplug it from the power, which is just me turning off this power. Okay. And turn it on again. Could you hear it booting up? There you go. We hear a beep. So let's see if maybe it came back. Not right now. So I'm gonna turn it off. Turn it back on. Okay, doesn't seem to be coming up. So we're gonna be doing additional steps today, and this is part of the troubleshooting. We sometimes get batches with Omnitics that don't broadcast their management Wi-Fi, and we need to connect to them via Ethernet. But that's no problem. I have an adapter. So what I'll do is I'll plug the extra Ethernet adapter to my computer. And I'm going to plug it in directly to the data side of the PoE injector. Right. I don't know if you can see the LEDs on the Omnitic, but it should have now a blue one, which is the power, and it has an amber one, which shows that there is data activity. All right, so I'm going to, we don't need Wi-Fi now. So I'm going to my network. I go to my adapter properties, and this is the USB that I'm using additional. We need to change the IP to the Omnitic's default IP. So we need to be in the same subnet. The Omnitic default IP is 192.168.88.1. So I'll just make it some, if you want me to go slower, please let me know. But essentially you go to your network connections, you right click on your power, on your network adapter, properties, you go to TCP/IP version 4, properties again, use the following IP address, and we're setting it up so that it's in the same subnet. And the subnet is 88.1, so we're gonna do 192.168.88.100. Subnet mask should be that, and that's all you need. You don't need to fill anything else. And let's see if it changes. It does not, but we're gonna test if there is connectivity. And yeah, so we have connectivity. Right, so that's been taken care of. How you should work is we should have seen on the Wi-Fi, and then we should have just connected to the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi would have give us the IP, and we just had to go and click here. So again, first step. Now I'm gonna follow the steps as we have them on our website. It's the best guide. So we're gonna go to download the MikroTik firmware first. So we download, this is the one we use, the Omnitic 5AC. We download the firmware, and you can see it on the bottom left, it's downloaded. After that, let me go back to the dock, and we generate a configuration. We have this was done by Zach, and he put a lot of work into this, and it's a wonderful tool. It saves us between 10 and 30 minutes of work just by going to the config and typing in the node number. So we click on that. In this case, I'm gonna make just a, let's say 8824. This node number, you get it from the installing member when they do a node request. So this is what gives us the amount of IP. So it's important that you keep it that you make the request to the proper channels, which is going to our website and to going to the NYC Mesh website and doing a node request. For now, we're just doing a mock install. So I'll use this one, which I know is out of the range. So I'll tell you just type it in and you download the config. All right, going back to the steps. So I have the latest MikroTik firmware. I have my configuration downloaded already. Now I connect. So generally we would just connect to via the SSID. What we did now is we connected via the LAN port, and I made it so that we were in the same subnet. So what I like to do is I like to go into my downloads first and putting everything in one folder. So I downloaded this too at the end. I'm gonna click new folder, and it's gonna be our node 8824. It's those two. So this is the firmware and this is the configuration file. All right. One step at a time. All right. So now we're going to navigate to 198.168.88.1, which is our Omnitic, and we're in. Right. This is what you will see. I'm going to put it side by side so that we have the instructions on one end and the Omnitic on the other. Right. So go on. I navigated to 88.1. This is the MikroTik GUI. The default username is admin and there is no password. It generally just logs you in automatically. All right, so in the GUI, we're gonna go to webfig. So we click on webfig, then we go to files, then we choose file, and this is going to be us uploading the firmware. So we click choose file. I go to the file I just created, which was in my downloads, 8824, and the .mpk, that's the firmware. We select it, click open. You see it on the bottom that said uploading. So you wait until it's uploaded. Right, it seems to be done. Now moving on. So to fully upload, you will see the upload progress in the bottom left corner. Then we go to system. Then we go to reboot. And the drop-down menu is says if you want to reboot. Something important I want to, before I do the firmware upgrade, you can see on this router OS version 6.43.16. That's the factory firmware that is shipping now, that MikroTik is shipping the routers now, but we're upgrading it to the latest one, which is 6.46.1. So once we're back into the webfig and to the GUI, we should see 6.46.1. All right, so we're ready to do, and click OK. You should see the data LED, the amber LED go off. And again, the router is rebooting, so you'll hear it. You will hear that sounds and then the beep that it does when it comes back on. So we'll just give it a minute. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat. We're in the waiting game. Okay, so I heard the beep. The amber LED came back on. let's see what it does. So I'm going back to 88.1. No connectivity yet. Right. Amber. Right. Amber is back blinking. So let's see. So after it beeps twice, you should be able to go back in, and yeah. So lo and behold, we have version 6.46.1. So we were successful in upgrading to the latest firmware. Now we go, just look like reboot it, wait about a minute to reboot. So your computer LED flashing, and then you will see the current version. All right, now we're ready to upload the configuration. We have instructions here that are for Mac or Linux and for Windows. I am using a Windows machine, so I'll follow the instructions for Windows. Okay, so if you're using Windows, we go to the command prompt, navigate to the folder, and enter the following command. Okay, just to make it easier, I'm gonna move this folder 88.24 to the local C drive, so I don't need to navigate. All right, so this is where I have the configuration. And I need this PSCP, which is the secure copy file from PuTTY. I'm gonna click on the PuTTY link. And we don't need the whole PuTTY application. We just need the PSCP. So there it is. So the command line secure file copy. I'm gonna download the 64-bit directly. Right, it's been downloaded. Showing folder. I'm gonna move that to my 88.24 folder and have it here. Okay, going back to the dock. This is the command line that we will need to use. For the sake of organization, since you're going to be doing more installs, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a dash 8824. So this way I know that this configuration is for the 8824 Omnitic or node. All right.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
This is Willem again. I just wanted to jump in to reinforce that point. Yeah. I've made the mistake several times thinking, oh, I know which one I'm sending when I'm doing 2 installs. I know which one I'm sending this to, and they're wrong. And so we have the wrong node number with the right node or the right node with the wrong node number. So point very well taken there. Thank you for that, Chris.
Great. Yeah, this, I think, yeah, we need to put emphasis on that. As the more installs you do, and if you're doing a few nodes on the same day, it gets confusing because you keep using the same laptop to do the installs. So it gets messy if you're not organized. I'm not that organized, but I know to create a folder with the node name and then at least rename the configuration file with a dash 8824 or dash node number. All right, so this is the test I did before. So now what it's easier to do is just copy the comment, and I'm gonna show you something. I don't know how to position it. But, let's go step by step. All right. So I downloaded the 64 pscp.exe file. It's in the same folder, and now I'm copying this. And first, I think we need to emphasize maybe in the instructions, but I'm gonna go to the C drive. So C, and then I'm going to navigate to the folder, 024. I'm going to do a directory list, and we have here the configuration file. Now I'm going to paste the comment. To do that in Windows, you just right-click, and oh, I copied something else. Let me copy this. Copy. All right, right-click. Obviously, I need to rename this to 8824, but that's about it. So I have the comment PICP dash SCP, the name of the configuration file, our username, password, and the comment. And you just press enter. And we're waiting. And it's taking a lot longer than usual. There you go. All right, so this is asking me for to store a key in cache. This is just the fingerprint that does request every device that you connect via either telnet or secure where it's going to ask you for a key. You want to store the key, generally just type Y and enter. And that's it. It's success. It's 100% copied. We can minimize this. All right, so yeah, there you go. If fast enters reset anyway, type yes, and then return. Then we reopen the GUI. So we're back in the GUI. We go to System, so Webfig, and then System. And then we go down to Reset Configuration. I just want to show you something before we go to Reset Configuration. We'll go to Files. And so we go to Files, and you can see here, this is our configuration file. The only reason we don't do it through the GUI is because it has a special comment and a command, and that's why we need this line of code. All right, just wanted to show you that it's in the Omnitic. Going back, we reopen, we go to the Webfig. Excuse me a minute. A second. Okay, so step number 4, we reopen it, we go to Webfig, we go to System, we go to Reset Configuration. In here, we select No Default Config, so we check that, and then under Reset, Run After Reset, we're gonna click on the drop down, on the arrow, then under drop down, and we select our configuration file. After that, we just click on Reset Configuration and click. Do you want to reset all configuration and reboot? Say OK. All right. So if you see, I don't know if you're able to see it. Does someone add that to the docs? Yeah, we'll go again and add what is specifically the part about the.
Yeah, the part about labeling the file. Like
okay.
Yes, file.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll also change this to sort of like put 4 numerals or hashtags so that it's obvious that you need to replace those by the node number. And thank you, we'll make that note. If someone can make that note and remind me. All right, so you heard a beeping. Can you hear that? All right, so if you hear that, that's the Kerncraft 400. And I'm not sure, I think this was Zach's idea, which is just a bunch of lines of codes, but that tells us that the configuration has been successful. And it's about the best way to know it. You hear it and then you know you did it right.
Chris, it's actually KernCraft 400 was written by a member of NYC Mesh.
Oh, right. Wasn't it Zach?
So it wasn't Zach, no.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm not sure if I should reveal the identity of our Mesh member, but yes, one of the biggest stadium anthems in the world was written by a member of NYC Mesh. It's really amazing.
All right.
So that's our little tribute to that person through our OmniTick configuration confirmation music.
That is wonderful. So yeah, it works great. You know that everything is correctly configured once you have that. So now let's see. All right, so port 1 now is LAN, but port PoE in, which we already have. So in port 1, this is where how we're powering our OmniTick. And the ports 2 through 4, well, 2 through 5, therefore LAN ports, sorry, 2 to 4 are for LAN ports, and port 5 is for 1. Port 5 is where we are going to plug our light beam, and that we're going to do it in another installment. So just to stay tuned. I think someone is going to publish another meetup where we're going to configure the light beam. We're going to configure the TP links, which are the 2 boxes there. And then we want to make it a whole network. Oh, and we're going to align the light beam. So configure an alignment of the light beam, which is what we use to connect, do a point-to-multipoint connection. And it generally gives us faster speed than just meshing, but sometimes just meshing works great. And that's what we're doing today. So moving on, now what I need to do is change my IP to be able to access it again. So in theory, if I go here, I shouldn't be able to see it. And yeah, it's taking a while because now it has the OmniTick IP address changed to 10.69 something, which is the one that's generated by our the config website. So yeah, we're out. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to the network connections, go to my adapter, properties, select the ITCP version 4, properties, and I'm gonna tell it to use to get an IP address automatically. I'll click OK. We'll close.
Did we get kicked out? What happens?
Hey, Chris, you're muted.
Unmute. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
All right, so what happened is that I am connected to 2 networks and it kind of got derailed. So I have the same computer connected to 2 networks. Right, if you can hear me, let me go back. Let me share my screen once more. Right. Okay, so I'm back. So like I said, I have two power adapters. One of them is connected to my local office network and the other one is connected to the Omnitic. Can everybody hear me? All right, great. All right, so let me see what I'm getting from. So I'm getting for power adapter. So I'm getting this IP. This is my local office IP, and I'm getting this one from the Omnitic. I'm gonna go to the Omnitic IP. Oh, there I had it. Right, and we have the network name 88.24. And then what I want to show you is if we're actually meshing. Let me see. So for some reason it's not showing. Let me check my phone if I can see the IP. Sorry, the Wi-Fi. So yeah, so let me stop the screen share and show you. So we have the NYC Mesh 88.4. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, let me, all right, there you go. So there you go. So we have it right here, 88.4 mesh. And then at the top, we have the NYC Mesh Community Network. All of our Omnitics have this open NYC Mesh Community Network, which provides free Wi-Fi to anybody who can see it. And this one, we use it for management purposes. That's why it's secured. Oh, wait, you can see my, can you see the other one? No, you cannot see it. All right. So there you have it. Now, let me share the screen one last time. And we go to neighbors. Let's see if it's actually bridging. Okay, Willem? We lost Willem. And this is, okay. Let's see if it's not showing anything here. Where do I see the neighbors? Oh, there you go. Nope, it's not seeing. I wonder if I could do a test directly. Okay, Willem? All right, Willem is not.
Yeah.
All right, Willem, do you know how to get to the neighbors?
Oh, yeah. I think if you go to IP on the side,
Uh,
on
wait.
the side menu, I think,
Oh,
yeah, IP,
IP
neighbors, there it
and
is,
oh, there it is. Okay.
right under kid control.
Okay, so let's see if this is. Well, no, it's not. For some reason, it's not able to see. I don't know if I did a change on my other. Let me check if the other Omnitic is up. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Maybe it's just is down. So if you, Willem, if you want to jump in while I go reboot the other Omnitic. But essentially, yeah, we went through the whole process. Oh, and it tells us to, yeah, last step will be to change the password, which is advisable. So we go to system, password, and this is empty. And here we put a new password, and we use a standard password for NYC Mesh. Once you get to install it, you learn it and just type it in twice, you change it, and done. Well, that's pretty much how you configure an Omnitic.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
there may be one other thing. Olivier, for those of you on the call, who is one of our kind of network admins, told me that I think Zach had updated the basic configuration to kind of raise the bar for the connection strength to nearby Omnis.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
trying to remember where that's done in here. You may be able to try lowering it a bit to see if it pairs with something. I'm not sure if that may be under I mean, you could go to scanner potentially just to see if any of the
Yeah, let's see.
you know, if any
Oh, so let's see. All right, so I have. Oh, so yeah, it sees my W. It says so. This is the other node that's outside my window. Let's close it.
so it might be that the signal strength, which you could all
Yeah.
see was around -66, isn't by the configuration good enough to. Of course, there is somewhere that you can change that, except I'm just not
Right.
sure. I've done it a few times, and we really should have added it to the docs by now.
Yeah.
But it is very, I think one thing to note here is that there isn't, although this is a standard configuration, we
Yeah.
do often check and reconfigure things a little bit, because very often, as we densify, we have multiple routers that are visible, and we want to make sure that we're going through the right router back to the internet exchange point. Because sometimes you get a higher signal strength, but your connection actually isn't as good. So,
So, all right, let's see. I think, all right, so I kind of, oh, I also see Sax here.
oh, wow, exciting.
Yeah, I'm about 2 blocks away from him. So this is his Omni, and it's also meshing with us. So just to give you a perspective, let's go. Am I still sharing? No, I lost the screen share. All right, screen share, share. All right. It's gonna go to the main site, go to the map. And so this is where I am now. And this is SAC. So this is, I think it's the 3. 363, we just lost it in here. So yeah, 363, and then I am connecting to it. Oh, there it is, it's back. 363, and I'm connecting to it via 4239. And our node number, as you know, is 8824. So, and the other node is about 60 feet from here. So 40 feet more, sorry. So it's somewhere here. I'm around where my little hand is. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not able to do a speed test just because I might lose connectivity with you again, and I'd rather not. So I'm gonna open up for questions and anything else you wanna say.
What about IPv6?
We're transitioning to it still. I know Zach and a couple of other network administrators are working on it, but yeah, we're still working on an IPv4 environment for now. Any other questions, comments?
Are you in Bay Ridge now?
Me? Bay Ridge? No.
Connectivity. The NYC Mesh.
Oh, if I'm, well, yeah, part of it. So like I said, one of my adapters, so I have two adapters here. So network one, this one is my domain, which is I'm wired in. And this one is the one that I'm connected to via my power adapter here.
No, I was asking if NYC Mesh is in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn.
Oh, Bay Ridge. I think, hold on. Let's go to the map. Maybe Willem has a better idea of right off the bat. But...
Yeah, I think just going to the map
yeah.
will give you a good indication. It looks like...
Yeah,
well,
we still...
almost.
Oh, somebody's there.
You got to go
it's
further
Red Hook,
south.
sorry.
Yeah.
That red dot.
Yeah, there's a red dot. They have a nano station on the window. So this is probably a NYC link connection. Because I don't think they have line of sight, but we have this tool. Let me show. So it's los.nycmesh.net. Here you type in your address, and it gives you a broad idea of whether or not you have connectivity to any of our nodes over hops. So that's a good tool to use. As of now, you can see this is where most of us are. The one that I am I'm here. This is just me and Zach just playing around, really. But eventually, I'm looking to make a hub here and possibly extending the network. But we'll see how that goes. We're planning something with Zach.
Do you want to demonstrate the line of sight tool, Chris? I just think it's so cool.
Oh, the line of sight. Okay.
So if you want, you can put in my address, plus a few buildings down.
Sure.
Maybe 118 Madison Street, Manhattan.
All right, there you go. So 118 Madison Street, Manhattan.
Oh,
and
look at all that.
Yeah, so it gives you the possible, these are just positive. So it gives you the connectivities you have. This is an omni. So it's essentially what we just did here. So you could just install an Omnitic and you will get signal from a few omnis around you. And, meshing with other, 1, 2, 3, 4 omnis, 5, it's good enough. But then to go into you see the supernode 1, then you will need the light beam. And obviously that will give you a much faster connection. Any other option? Any other? Yeah. Sometimes, so we try to do surveys, but sometimes it's via either software, via the line of sight tool, and going into the 3D as well. Or going to Google Earth. I think Willem, you've done that quite a few times to prepare.
Yeah, if you go back to that installs presentation, you'll actually see a bunch of different ways to check that before you go out on an install. And you know, if you're joining as a kind of trainee, first-time installer, you may not have much control over that. But when you become an install leader, then you have much more of an active say in, you know, whether you go ahead with the install or not, and checking it. But go to the install presentation, and you'll see a number of different tools that are available for checking.
So yeah, Google Earth and other options, but and even then we still, like I said, you have a possible line of sight, and then you get to the place, and I don't know, a tree or something is blocking it, and you just can't get around it, or you need a longer pipe to be able to get across, and you don't have that. So it's not always easy. Right, so I'm going to ask again questions or comments, and otherwise I'll thank you for joining. Thank you for your patience. This is possibly my second time presenting. I'm good with hands-on stuff. I'm not really good at preparing and getting stuff before they install. I kind of just grab everything I know I'll need and just do it.
So if you don't have line of sight, that means you can still get a router, but then you're basically becoming a node. You're sharing your internet rather than.
Oh, right. I mean, if you don't have any line of sight, which is what we're doing here, again in the map. Let me show you. Yeah. So, like Zach, he's sharing his internet, and that's how I am getting internet now. But this is, like I said, we're just testing it, and I get a few megabytes. This is not, I mean, I know it shows the line, but we're actually bouncing the signal off of this building, which is, it's kind of cool. We don't really have direct line of sight, so we bounce the signal. This is a class building, and then it comes to me. And I'm able to get roughly 6 megabytes and a couple of megabytes 6 megabytes download, a couple of megabytes upload. But again, this is us just playing. But how he has it set up is that he shares his own internet. So he connects to, he connected one of his home router to the Omnitic or to the sector on his rooftop, and he just broadcasts the signal. So yeah, you can do that and just start sharing your signal, and essentially you become a hub at that point.
That's really interesting. I didn't realize that was a potential of those Omni routers, and I'm curious if somebody wanted to share their internet, but using like these Omnis and stuff. Is there like a special setup for that kind of thing, or are there docs for it?
So I don't think we have DOS specifically for it, but it's a two-part install. So one, yeah, you will need, if you just want to broadcast something on your neighborhood, then yeah, the Omnitic, even if it's outside your window, will work, and that will provide free Wi-Fi. And then the second part is VPN. So we will need to set up VPN on the router itself, or on a different router that you might have at home. And what it does is anybody that connects to the NYC Mesh Wi-Fi, which is the one that I show you on my phone, it's gonna go through directly via the VPN to our mesh network. So it's completely separate from your home network, and it's a different subnet, entirely different network. but yeah, that's a way to do it. I know, and that's how you get started. You know, there's like here we don't have anybody else, and it's kind of hard because Midtown is where you get the most of the buildings, so it's very difficult to get a direct line of sight. But once, if we get someone that can donate bandwidth, then it's a matter of installing the equipment and then just broadcasting the signal to anybody else who might be able to connect. Like we have this guy here, for example, and I'm pretty sure there's no direct line of sight here between me and him. But if we could get someone here, and then perhaps we can jump to him somehow. Right.
What's the frequency of the transmitters?
So we work mostly with 5 gigahertz. Let me go back to if I can possibly show it on the config. So let's see. That's connectivity or something. Oh, no, I am in wireless. Okay. This is wireless. Yeah, so short answer is yeah, we use 5 gigahertz. It's not going to anywhere. I mean, okay. So there you go. So you have the band here, and can you see? Yeah, and then this is the 5 gigahertz. Yeah, we do have a bunch of NYC, Link NYC, and I'm working. So just so you know, let me show you what's like. Can I? Let me try something. I think I might be connected via the. Okay, so yeah, I am connected via the mesh, which is great. I have, so my other connection, this one, the domain network, this is 1 gigabit fiber connection. But right now it's showing that I'm connected to the mesh. Let's just test it just for the sake of it. Again, I was just getting a few megabytes. Oh no, this is definitely my work connection. All right, so going back to, let's see, so I am on 34th. So this is right here. I am at this corner here. And I know Sachs hub is somewhere here on 30, no, that's not 31st. It has to be 34th. He's somewhere here actually, past 10. And yeah, so here, and we're using this building, which is a glass building, to bounce off the signal to me on 35th. 35th, 33rd, yep, is here once, thank you. But yeah, we have Link NYCs here, and we also provide the configuration for that. I'm gonna be extending, so I have, at the moment, I have a, Let me see if I can show you that. All right, so 4239. No, at the moment I have an Omnitic on a J-pipe installed outside the window about 40 feet from here. And that's how I'm receiving SAG signal. Okay. Thank you for joining. If again, we will be doing another one for the light beam. Let me stop the screen share.
Well, thank you for sharing and putting your time in.
Thank you. So next one will be, I don't know if I'll do it or maybe someone else is going to do it, but we're going to be configuring one of these and we're going to be aligning it to another antenna. We're going to show you the process of alignment and how to go about it. And we're going to also be configuring the TP-Link, which is the indoor router.
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, Willem, if you have anything else to add, we'll wrap it up.
No, I think that's everything for me, Chris. That was really awesome. I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much for giving it. And for anyone who's still on the call, you know, there are lots of ways to keep in touch with us at this time. If you aren't already part of our Slack community, you can go to our website and find the link to sign up. That's the way we typically keep in touch with each other when we're not all together in one place. And also sign up for our newsletter. Make sure to do that. You can also access a link from our homepage as well. And I think, you know, I can't wait to start installing with people again. I'm sure you feel the same way, Chris. It will happen, and can't wait to see all of you out there on the rooftops.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Also, Ono, I think you're recording because you became the host.
I did?
So yeah, so you might have that file somewhere in your, let me see. I'm not sure where it does it by default, but I'll check.
It does say recording on my thing, but I don't know if it was, I did it.
I guess, I don't know, I guess it just chose you. So you have it in documents and then Zoom.
I will, if it saves me, and I can send you what I have.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I am also, it might actually just be a cloud. I don't know. Someone else is the owner of this Zoom license. So
It might go straight to Jillian's.
It does? Okay.
I think so. That's at least what I understood from last time. But I guess, Ono, if a giant file appears on your computer, then it'll probably be this.
I'm actually up in the country, so it'll take a while to send it, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't look like a New York City apartment.
Yeah, lots
Too
of
much
garden
space.
space.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we look forward to seeing you in the mesh.
All right. Well, thank you very much for putting all the energy into it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.